We had to dress for the weather. So the committee, thankers and volunteers, Walter Bennett, Ashia Cunningham, Cora Cunningham, Diane Foster, Kelly Johnson, Ingram, Lev Mister, Teresa Moss, Jeremy Pittman, Glenda Smith, Lucille Rimmer, Peggy Rimmer, Melvin Reed, Craig Towns. Thank you to all those who helped through the year for the 1966 Grenada Freedom Movement. The team, these are the people to be on it. And I have to ask my cousin, Jackie Craig Towns, to stand. The last, I have said time. All right. Now, a celebration of spirit. We thank you, students who were brave enough and courageous enough to go on that first day. We understand that everybody did not go back, and that is very understandable because we were traumatized. We were traumatized. And so, of course, a lot of students didn't go back. Of course, parents did not allow their students to go back into that. But some of us just trudged on. And all of us, I think all of us deserve, I don't like to say honor, recognition, but I think all of us right deserve. Our stories deserve to be told. Our history deserve to be recorded, right? That's right. And it's just that when you think about Richard's son, oh yeah, being beaten, ex-hammers, right? When you think about Errol Cunningham, a elementary grade student with polio, being beaten. You got hit in the head with a brick. I got hit in the head with a brick and I didn't even know it. I had suppressed the memory. We have a historian who's about to complete a book that's really we've been working on now for about 10 years probably, because it's a lot of research. And that's why we have to encourage our students to become scholars. Because we're talking scholarly research. And one of the things when she interviewed my mom, and then she went, because you got to back it up, because she asked me, and I said, no, nothing happened to me. But you got to back it up with the stories, right? And so she asked my mom, and my mom said, well, she came home bloody. She came home bloody with blood on her head. And then she talked to Dorothy Jean Allen. And Dorothy Jean Allen said, and one of the other students said that it was a group of us who came out of the school first. We didn't know what was going on outside, but we knew something was going on because the principal had called all of these white girls in the office. And at some point, Dorothy said, all those girls can't get in that small office. There's something going on. And she passed the note back to me. And so we decided that we were going to leave. All of us was going to walk out. And so by that time, the bell rang and everybody else began to leave. So when we got out on the steps, the principal, I was at the back I was the last student in the back. And the principal said, because we were going to turn around and go back in. And the principal said, you all can't come back in here. You got to go home. School is out. They sent us out into a mob of white males in trees with sticks and lambs and bricks and chains. And honestly, initially, they were just heckling. We built a school for you niggas. Why don't you stay over there? Those kinds of things. But because there was one young man with us, Poindexter Harvey, one young man, and the rest of us were girls, they started beating him. And when they started beating him, I went back to help him. And they were saying, no, 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 we got to keep going. You know, they told us to always keep going. But I couldn't keep going. I had to go back and help him. And so when I went back to help him, then everybody came back to help him. And that was how we got out of that. But they literally beat him. But now remember, he was the only black male in the group. The rest of us were females. But they targeted him. And then, of course, after we went to help, then all of us became the target for the beating. We were already the targets because we were not supposed to be there. So, all the students, any student who integrated the high school in 1966, who integrated the two white schools, John Rundle or Lizzie Horn, please stand. Ashe, 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 Ashe. We have one young lady. We have one young lady back there in the wheelchair. If you all could just push her up to the front so we can see her. Is she in a wheelchair? She in a regular chair? We want to recognize every student. Would you like to say something? Okay. We just wanted, we just wanted you to see her. She's in a wheelchair, but she's here. What's her name? Union Black. And Black. She's a Black now. She was a Thomas at the time. She said, I knew them. I lived in the rural. Pine Hill was rural at the time, right? But my grandmother lived down the street from them. And that's how I would play with them when I was little. Thank you so much. We have one of the students who is not here, Cassandra Butte, but Cassandra's baby sister, who was one at the time, is here from Atlanta representing her. Would you please stand, Denise? Marilyn, if you would come back and read this letter. Actually, Cassandra wrote something on Facebook. It took her a while. And then she wrote something that day, and she came back the next day. And she said, I got to continue this post. But we're going to read to you what Cassandra said.
Thank God for Diana Freeline and others involved with this project. After 58 years, there will be a tangible marker of this dark day in Grenada, Mississippi. Over the years, some things have happened. Seems like a bad dream, suppressed a lot. Like it's unbelievable, even to me, and I was there. I'm sure each of us have our own individual horror, hellish stories where we were all just innocent kids. And it and just didn't know and understand how to process what was happening at the time. Here's one thing I remember. I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. I started at Lizzie Horn. The first day was supposed to be a half day. I was in Miss Gully's English class. Shortly after class started, over the intercom, white kids were being called out of the class one by one. By noon, Black students were the only kids left. We had no idea what was happening. We wandered through the halls of Lizzie Horn, finally found out what now I know was the principal's office. As I recall, we were told to leave the school by Principal Mr. Wallace. I think that was his name. I remember feeling scared, confused, unsure. We left Lizzie Horn, walked across the tarp to John Ronald to find my sister and older kids. We walked out of John Ronald's front door down what seemed like a mile long hallway. We saw the mob in the parking lot of the library, located directly in front of John Ronald. We were innocent, stupid kids, unaware that Richard S. and others had already been beaten, and we were headed straight into the danger, just trying to go home. At the time, the sheriff's name, I believe, was Suggs. He was walking up and down the sidewalk in front of the school. Not sure of his purpose, but he whispered to us, "Turn around, get your asses back in that school, and don't come out." I think he may have saved us.
And so I want to stop there for just a second because this is why we have to share the stories. We were just talking about that this morning. We didn't know what was going on outside. We didn't know what was going on in the other school. But what we do know when we share the stories, we know that it was planned. We know that there was complicity through all of the local agencies.
That's right.
That's how you begin to articulate these stories, help people to understand. And I never heard that story regarding Suggs Inc.
Right.
No matter how nasty he was, what his history was.
Right.
In that case, there was a glimpse of humanity. When you find those glimpses of humanity, you understand that there is hope. There is hope. Think about all of those people who were beating us, but at least this sheriff said to this child, get back in that school because he knew what they were doing. And so just to recognize that there was some humanity,
All right.
it gives hope.
These are my recollection. Other than my sister Rosalind and my baby sister Marcia, I don't remember who else was in that group. We went back into John Rundle, Lizzie Horn. Melzina Cook came through the doors of Lizzie Horn, rescued us. We all ran to the church. On January 10th, 2024, she added, continuing my post from yesterday, having recently become aware of the Diane and Teens initiative to recognize and pay homage to the students that made the decision to attend John Rondon and Lizzie Horn in September 1966 school integration has stirred up a lot of memories and forgotten events. I would like to say thank you to my parents and young siblings for their support to commend, honor, and recognize the sacrifices they made. My parents, along with other parents, did not blink. Well, I'm sure there was a lot of blinking and tears as they faced threats of losing their jobs, homes, lives, etc. The first day, Dr. Martin Luther King led a group of approximately 150 Black children to school. I remember my mom, Mrs. Neely, Mrs. Mack, and maybe a couple of other parents met on the east side and drove us that morning. Approximately 150 Black children attended that first day. After the mob attack, the next day, only a handful of Black children returned to John Rundle and Lizzie Horn. I believe about 30 at the high school, maybe 10 to 15 at Lizzie Horn. Parents with children that returned were threatened. Some parents perhaps had no choice except to pull their children out. But my parents did not succumb to the threats. We owned our home and property, no government assistance. My family grew most of what we ate. My mom was fired from Spotless Cleaners, where she had worked for years. My dad worked at Phillips Lumber Company since coming home from World War II, never took time off or vacation, was fired from his job, but they never hinted to me or Rosalind or any intention to steer us from our decision to attend those white schools. They could have kept their jobs, but chose to stand behind their kids. We grew up right outside of Grenada. The area is now called Sundown. But at that time, it was the abused land on a gravel road, not within Grenada city limits. Roz and I were the oldest of seven children who had been shielded and protected that summer until Dr. King's mule train came through Grenada. My aunt Daddy's sister on Chatchu, where a rally was held and people were tear gassed. Some things we should never forget.
All right. Thank, thank you. Imagine all the people who are no longer with us that we did not get a chance to talk with. That's always the thing that really bothers me the most. But when we don't share these stories, that is what happens. So that we have the students of 66. We also have three parents who are living, who are the students. We want to acknowledge those parents. Miss Mary Myers, who was the mother of Royce Myers and Arthur Myers, is still living. Miss Hattie Watson, who was the mother of Otis. Who else? Lee Washington. It was three of them. Joanne, who's deceased. Okay. So she's still living. And Mrs. Ola Mae Bowdre, who is the mother of Dorothy Allen, is still living. Uh, we also want to acknowledge the, we want to set the stage and acknowledge the 1966 Grenada County Freedom Movement veterans. Anyone in here who took part in any way in the 1966 Grenada Freedom Movement, please stand. Anyone who took a part in any way in the 1966 Grenada Freedom Movement, please stand. So if you may be seated, you'll see yourself in pictures today. If you look around the wall, you'll see yourself in pictures. And one of the youngest, if not the youngest person who is in that iconic picture with Dr. King is also here today. Grace, will you stand? She's in the picture. She's walking with Dr. King. Uh-huh, she's in the front. Yeah, in the front. Grace, would you like to say something? She doesn't like to talk. So, do we have any of our Grenada County, that 1966 Grenada County Movement freedom singers with us who could come and give us one note of a song or one note of two songs? I know Lev was here. Is he still here? Lev is here. Will is here. Who else? Oh, the rest of y'all know the songs. They ain't got to do nothing. Come and lead us in them. Lev and Will, if you all would come and lead us in a couple of those freedom songs. Come on, y'all went to jail. Y'all for 1966 Grenada County Freedom Movement veterans. Prison went to Parchment. We've been built and we've been scorned. We've been talked about, should you born, but we'll never turn back. No, we'll never turn back until we've all
being free, and we'll have equality, and we'll have equality. Everybody knows this song. This was our staple song. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Hey, turn me around. Turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. Walking up the freedom land, ain't gonna let no Ku Klux Klan, y'all turn me around. Can't let them turn me around. Won't let them turn me around. Ain't gonna let no Ku Klux Klan around. We gonna walk on walking, keep on talking. Walking up the freedom land. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, me. Oh, me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. We had, we had one song we used to do every night before we leave Bellflower going out on the square downtown. Uh, we would do it before we go out. We were taught it by John Baez and the Freedom Singers. Uh, and it went something like this. I'm gonna jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton, pick a bale of cotton, pick a bale of cotton. I'm gonna jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton, pick a bale of cotton today. You're gonna jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton. You're gonna you're gonna pick a bale of cotton. You're gonna jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton. Pick a bale of cotton today. Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you all. So for our, we also have another veteran. We have another 1966 freedom movement veteran in the facility who is also a student who integrated to schools. And she has with her an organization called Seniors on the Move from Natchez, Mississippi. We want Carolyn to stand, and we want you to see all of the people who came with her. Seniors on the Move from Natchez, Mississippi. We want to thank you, Seniors on the Move. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, we're going to connect. We will be connecting. At this time, we're going to do our stories. We're going to show a short video, and you will participate. If you know any people, shout their names out. If you have something to add it. But you are part of the story. You are a part of the story. So we're going to ask our Elder Abram to come up if he's still here. We're going to ask Lev to come up. Will to come up. I'm already up. Lewis Johnson, the brother of Robert Johnson. We're going to ask him to come up. Pete Wilson, Will Washington, and any other veteran of the 1966 freedom movement who want to come up and and who may be able to answer questions or just say what we see in the video. So you all could just go and turn the chairs around over here. So we're going to watch the video. Okay, somebody come in and show us what the video, where the video is on YouTube. Uh-huh. It's on YouTube. If you put, yeah, if you pull up Grenada 1966 civil rights, it'll come right there. There it is, right there. That's it. Okay.
Oh, 1966 special report. They got it. Oh, they got it.
Do we need to get the lights?
See ya.
Ricky, why did he hit you, Ricky?
No, we was coming through that back.
Going to school, going to school, Ricky.
Yeah,
What did he do? Did he smash the window of your car?
yeah,
Where did the glass hit you, Ricky?
in the head.
Are you going back to school, Ricky?
Yeah,
You're going back to school, Ricky.
yeah,
No matter how many clubs they have, Ricky?
yeah.
Do you fear going back to school here in Grenada, Glenda?
No, no.
Despite what happened today?
Yeah.
Do you think all the other Negro children, despite what is happening here in Grenada, will continue to go to school, integrate the high school and the grade school?
Yes, I think so.
Why, Glenda?
Because they feel that they need their freedom now, and when they get old, they don't want to be fear about white folks, and we're not scared of them.
So you're going to school so that when you get old, you will not be afraid of white folks.
Yeah, and have a better home and be proud of it.
Are you proud of the Negro children who went to school today, Glenda?
No,
You're not proud of the Negro children who went to school today?
no, I don't think they have the better opportunity.
I understand, but let me rephrase the question. Were you happy to see so many Negro children go to school today?
Oh, yes.
What did they tell you? We're going to keep going to school
Yeah, they said they were going to keep going to school,
no matter what happens.
no matter what happens.
Her name is Glenda Crawford. She's deceased now.
You think you
to charm every girl you see, play with everyone that you can. But I got news for you. I hope it won't hit you too hard. So I don't remember what kind of car my father had, but I know his windows were knocked out. I'm gonna tell you. Now, those were parents marching in support of their children. All you do is run around using heart for play talk. I don't know who that is. You've been playing steady, but every mama around. Again, you all, these are parents, these are adults who risk their lives, right? So these are students. So if you see a student that you recognize, please shout out the name.
No. Are you upset with the fact that we are? Why? Well, I don't care. Well, they can't stay here all the time. See, protect them. I said I couldn't protect the man before it happened. I got him off him and take the man to his car. Don't you think it's important to arrest the people who are beating up those men in this town? Well, some of them need the training. Some of them got. Some of the new men need the training and the cameraman's off. Because they won't tell the truth. Why? I got up and is that the way to handle it? Really having to beat up by people? No, it's not. No. And you disagree with a lot of news coverage, I know. Yeah, I disagree with some of the news coverage because they don't put the one side there. Do you all? You don't agree either with beating up news coverage? No, I don't. Well, if they tell the truth, but if they tell a damn lie, then they whoop it. By who? By whoever wants to whoop it. Who decides whether it's the truth or a lie? Well, whoever comes along decides that. That's his own decision. That's his own decision. When a newsman or a camera, either one comes in and tells a damn lie, then he needs whooping. Unfortunately, though, sir, whether you like it or not, it's your job to make sure they don't get whooped. Not if they told lies would be my responsibility. It's his. You think it's the state police or anybody else's job to protect the news? He's gone. He's all right. That'd be fun. Constable, we ran out. You were talking about the newsman. I'd like to get your feelings on it. We don't have anything particular against the newsman, the press, or anything else. But we want them to tell the truth. We want them to tell just what happened. On our side, the same as they put the other side. Just like Monday. Both sides of it, just like it is. Just like Monday, they told about going in the school rooms and whooping the children in the school rooms. I got the papers. I take the paper. See? That's right. Complete. No truth whatsoever in it. We never let nobody to that schoolhouse. Well, if what you say is true, even if it were true, what does that have to do with beating up newsmen? Well, he told a lie, he needs whooping. By whom? He won't arrest whooping. See anybody come along.
So we can move it along. What we wanted you to see was the interchange of the government agency, the police department, with actually with the news people, the media, right? Now, have you ever thought about why those cameras were taken away from them?
Yeah. We want to reach the point.
Right, come on, say it.
They didn't want the nation to see what was going on.
Didn't want the nation to see what was going on. Did not want anyone to know. Today, today, had the right, had those. See, you got to be able to connect the dots and connect history to understand. Had not that young person had that camera the day George Floyd died, do you think that story would have become a catalyst for a young people's movement?
No, no.
And young people's movement of all races, a young people's movement in just every major state almost, every major city, because the cameras were there, right? But what they did was they made sure that all of that, we have very little footage of anything from the first day. See, this is not footage of the first day. It's footage of going back to second day and then having to continue to march to school, right? But it wasn't the first day. It was not the first day. Go back to the beginning of the scene, right there, right there. And I know that young lady is
Shirley and Rim.
Shirley and Rimmer. And see, I didn't even know that we found this out by putting the list, what told you how what social media does. We actually found this by actually putting, but no, I didn't know Shirley Ann went until I saw this video.
Yeah.
Until I saw this video.
Yep.
And then I was literally able to identify that she was one of the students.
Who was that cop doing that time back? Right?
Right there. Stop. Yeah, correct. Brandon Carroll, Mr. Johnson. Who was the chief of police? Was it Mac?
Thug gang.
The chief of police?
No,
Mac was Mac Houston or something. Right, Judge, so let's listen. Let's listen to Shirley and see if we listen to Shirley's story interview, we'll see why many of the children did not return. So he said they felt like everything was going back to normal when they leave. When and he talked about what's he talking about? And what was he talking about when they leave?
When the civil rights folks leave.
Yeah, right.
They thought everything was going to but the black people stood up.
Right. So say that.
Well, they felt like once Dr. King and the civil rights leaders left, that everything would go back to normal, and we would be the same again, but they were wrong. Oh,
Get back in line. Just clean up.
Yeah, sure, I'm not there.
Now, we're gonna have a little violence. We've always had it. That goes in any town, anything else, see. I wouldn't think we wouldn't have a little violence in Grenada. So that'd be making too big a statement. But some people say a little is too much. Well, I would say, can you tell me anything what's 100%? Anything, can you put your ring on one thing what's 100%? I must use full occasionally, do you think? Not necessarily, no. Sometimes it's a pretty good world. In one case, well, the question goes like this. I don't have any, I don't have any, I don't have anything personal against it. But I don't like it. Madam,
We got the phones on private too.
you starting a private school?
It's starting a private too. That's how you know it's starting a private.
You tell me about it.
What she saying? No, I'm not gonna say anything. They people.
The private school.
She's actually letting them know what they're about to do to start in private school in order to keep black children out of the white school system. What they want to do if they were not going to go to school with us. They were clear. She's out there telling the people, telling the news folks, we're going to start a private school.
And they did.
And they did that. And they did that with government. They did that with the funds that are received from the school system for all the children. And that's why I said this morning, just all of this is
They're not going to give us justice. All we want is justice. What do you mean by that? Huh? People in for 8 of 1,000 feet, a lot of feet, now the whole feet blocks. What do you think you as constable, sheriff's officer, others should do? Not that. Well, they should do about what now? What are you speaking of? I'm speaking of the fact that some of you have been beaten up by people here at the town. Well, I have my I have seen on data. I don't believe in violence. I'm not, I don't believe in that.
so believe that.
oh, no.
Isn't that from 1956 they didn't believe in violence.
He didn't believe in nothing but violence.
I don't believe it. And prior to this, and still yet, you let one of these niggers get in trouble, and you know who the way
Still don't
you don't have one of these cars, you know, and that's hard to you don't think the newsmen are telling the truth? In some cases, they don't. No, I read their stories where I knew it was one-sided. The choice you get. Oh, what was going to do? Oh, I'm going to that in the press center the other day. Oh, like it once. Said what? Said something to the fact that a bunch of white men went in and took the niggers out of the school and hooked them up. No such happened. How about television reporters? Doing a good job in your opinion? Huh? Television newsmen, are they doing a good job? What you see on TV? Yeah, there's some of it that's all right, but then it looks to me like some of it chopped out. So they, I'm a little, all right, I hear it.
No, okay.
My name is John. My name is Guy. I think I'm a nice guy. You, any reason you can't. I'm sorry about it. Now I'm on the record, all right? You, now, what kind of news? Any kind you looking for? You can say that's been a right, you know, out there, right? Right? No, right here in the depot. Right here for watermelon. What happened to us? We came down there. Right here for watermelon. You know watermelon? That's not news, but it's
The famous watermelon
yeah,
side thing.
yeah. And people, I know you Yankees don't drink here. What kind you got? Zero? Okay. No, we don't.
Then on the spring,
Well, I'd like to thank you. I was standing out in front of the school, watching the kids go in, and while
The journalist
15 feet away, Lady Carol indicating to a group of women, he's a comedy, right? Why did the whites attack you, Henry? It's clear to me it was because Grady Carroll, the constable for this area, pointed me out. There was a group of white toughs standing 10 to 15 feet away from me, and I saw Grady Carroll nod towards me while looking at the group of white toughs. They immediately converged on me, and I was no more than 4 or 5 feet from Grady Carroll. And they just pummeled me to the ground, and I was yelling, "Help, help, Grady, help me." Grady wouldn't do a damn thing. He just stood behind and watched. And finally, after they had smashed my watch out, my glasses, and I was bleeding, he apparently picked some of the people off, and they walked me away and asked me what I was doing there causing trouble. He knew well who I was. I've sued him before several times. You're a lawyer. Is there police protection in Grenada, Mississippi? Absolutely no police protection. We're going to court today. We're asking the court to require them to keep whites out, protect these people. If not, I'm absolutely clear that we need federal troops. It's the grisliest situation I've ever seen. You know the South well. I've lived here 2.5 years as a civil rights lawyer. Exactly what happened when you went over to the white school today? The principal told us, asked us when we came in the hall, he asked us where we were going, so we told him that we didn't, he asked us, first he said, where y'all going? We told him that we were going, coming to his office and tell him that this is our first time coming to school, and we didn't know which room to go to, and so he told us just go, all of us to go to the auditorium. And one boy, he came there, one girl came there and she didn't know which room to go to. And so the principal said, asked her to come up and give her name. And so she came up and she gave her name to the principal. And the principal said, you have been here one time and said, do you know which room you're supposed to go to? She said, no, sir. She said, now, he said, this is my last time to tell you. He said, I'm going to take you to your room this time, and I want you to come out of your room, don't know which room to go to. So he took her to the room, he came back and took our names, and when he took our names, he went to somewhere else. And so we sat there, and he came back with something after 9 o'clock. And he came back, and so he called some of the children name. He didn't call ours, he just told us that he didn't have no application for us and told us to go back. Just told us to get up and go. He told you to go home? Go home. He didn't say sit there. He just said get up and go home. He said, because I don't have any application. So we told him that we ready to live at home. And he said, I don't want no arguing. He said, I don't want no arguing. He said, I'm just telling you what they told me. The job didn't have no application, so we got up and left out. Are you going to try to get back into school? Yes, I'm going to try to get back Monday. So that's why a lot of kids didn't go back. I'll do it again. What happened when you went to school today? If we really need somebody to identify. Well, he left down the trail, went to their room. He came to their room. Okay. We have no idea. What happened when you went to school today? Well, he left down the chair, went to their room. He turned up to their room. This is the principal. And then he told us to go somewhere. Where did he tell you to go? Home. Are you going to try to go back again to this white school? Yes, sir. Why? Well, I like to go to school. You're going to keep going back until you get in the white school? Yes, sir. Are you going to call a lawyer? Now, why would he ask that question? Is your mama going to call a lawyer? I guess so. Is your daddy going to call a lawyer? I think he would. Okay. You know. When I went to school, this was my first day going to school. When I went, the principal told me not to come back anymore to his office. So we left and told him not to come back. Why did he tell you not to come back? Because he didn't have no slip for us. Did you make out a slip? My mama gave me. My mama gave my brother one. He took it over to school. Those students cannot answer that question because
it's full of long days, weekend at that time, the federal government, so many years, we celebrate greatness happening at that time. We want to celebrate physical.
Yeah, Brown versus Ford. Brown v. Boyd versus, it was 1954, Brown v. Boyd. But of course, there were questions they could not answer. You know, why would they even ask some of those questions? But you look at the boldness of the children.
Do you think the white children here have a better school than the colored folks? They do have a better school than the colored folks. It's new and it's bright and it's shiny. What kind of school do they have for the colored children here? School. But you say it's not so good as the white school. How did the children like you in school? The white children don't want you to go to that school.
And this was actually later on in the school year. And after all of this, the students walked out of the two schools. The black students walked out of the two white schools because it was constant harassment, a constant intimidation. And this was all about the student staff, and particularly for small children. And how do we know? Because you know, a lot of this you can't put together. But again, scholarly research, when you go back and you read the court records, I didn't even remember I had been to court. But when they showed me the records, court documents, these are legal documents. These are records. You got a record? Everything, no, these are legal documents. So everything that the sheriff, the constable, the police chief, the teachers, it was all proven inside of the court case, right? That of the things that were taking place inside of the school system. And so that's why it's important to learn this and to connect all of this. So we're going to end that there because we just wanted you to get a snippet so that you'll begin to look at these things and to read them on your own and to get engaged and to get involved, right? So that we can move in the directions that we need to go in. Would any of the veterans like to have a last comment? Any of the veterans like to have a last comment?
It's good. It's good to get this information. We've come a long way. Of course, we got a long ways to go. I'll be 77 in a few months from now. I'm not getting any younger. But I want to lead us on record today. Unless we get our young people involved about the things that's going on, the changes that's taking place now, we see that we're living in a country where people don't care anything about the Constitution. Some of them say they love the Constitution, they love the Bill of Rights and all that kind of stuff. But we can see, you know, this thing is sticking the ugly head up again. And if we're not careful, and if we don't get our acts together, there are a lot of things gonna come our way that we fought years ago. So it's time for us to bring this other generation along. I might be moving off the scene, but I'm gonna try to stay around here a long time. But these guys that's my son's age and younger, let's get our children involved. And you know what hurts me? I see young people, my son's age and younger, and you ask them, are you registered to vote? Some of them haven't even registered. But it's an indictment upon the parent. If the child don't go register to vote when you get 18 years old. It hurt me to my heart my mom and dad could vote, and I was 18 years old. And took my mom to register to vote for the first time, and she was a grown woman that had never been able to vote. That was a joy to me to know my parents could vote when I had six. But the thing that hurt me, we could go off to Vietnam and die in Vietnam, and couldn't even register to vote. You had to be 21 years old to register to vote. But you could go to Vietnam at 18 and 19 years old. Yeah, that's right. But now we have a golden opportunity to educate our children and our children's children. And because that we don't, the freedom that we have now, I'm not afraid they'll be taken from us. So each parent, this is my plea to you, get your children involved. And some of the people say, well, that's all politics. But every time I go to the store, it's politics. You don't believe it, you paying taxes, politics involved. So let's get our children involved. Y'all do that for me. And if I get so old and I can't go register to vote, some of y'all come pick me up.
I would like to say, first of all, to Diane and her staff for working so hard. Uh, uh, we need to give them all you can, let's give them a hand. Some of the people that walked and went to jail and got beat, some of those people have children, grandchildren. So to piggyback on what the pastor was saying, we need our kids to know the history. And it's been an effort going on in certain states now where to keep that out of the classroom. This very history they're trying to keep out of the classrooms. So in Florida, I don't know about Mississippi so far, but we need to work hard in getting that history out there to our children's children, which would make a big impact on them doing the right thing.